Welcome. As we learned in our last activity on the Anglo-Saxons, the communal hall was the place where people could gather, hold meetings, and pass on stories from one generation to the next. Since most people were illiterate, there were storytellers, called bards, who told the stories to the tribe. The bards would sing or tell stories about war and love, aging and death, many of the same topics that our own contemporary poets and singers address in their ballads and rock and roll and rap and other entertainment of the day. In this lesson, we'll focus on one of the narratives that was passed on from generation to generation. It's been embellished and perfected as time went on. We'll look at Beowulf. It was the first recorded poem in English literature, written over 1,000 years ago. Beowulf is a tale of dream and legend, of monsters and weapons, of descent into the underworld, and fights with a fire-breathing dragon. And this epic story includes a hero's quest to conquer a villain in order to save his community. Beowulf is a relatively short piece, only 3,200 lines. It's composed in Old English and based on early folk tales from Scandinavia and Celtic origins. Some scholars think that Beowulf was finally recorded in print by a Christian monk. Burned and stained, the original copy of Beowulf is currently in the British Museum in London. Later in this lesson, we'll take an online field trip to see the actual manuscript. In preparation for your reading, let's learn about some of the characters of Beowulf. First, there's our hero, Beowulf. He's courageous and loyal. Then there's Grendel, the villain. He's a man-eating monster who lives at the bottom of a foul mere. That's a mountain lake. Next, another character is Hrothgar, king of the Danes, who has befriended Beowulf's father. Unferth is one of King Hrothgar's courtiers. That's a person who attends to the needs of the monarch. And last but not least, Wiglaf. He's a warrior who, as you'll read, is Beowulf's most loyal companion and friend. Before we move on to our reading of Beowulf, let's review some information. Beowulf was the first recorded piece of English literature. It was passed along by bards and written down by a monk over 1,000 years ago. It's a short piece, 3,200 lines, that's currently in the British Museum. The main characters are Beowulf, Grendel, Hrothgar, Unferth, and Wiglaf. They're all involved in a plot filled with violence, war, courage, and death. And now it's time for you to enjoy the tale of Beowulf.